is a war inside you. Not outside, not in your job, your bank account, your relationships, or even your failures. The war is in your mind. And the enemy is fear. Fear. That quiet whisper that tells you you're not enough. That relentless shadow that follows your dreams and waits to kill them in the dark. It disguises itself as logic. It wears the mask of caution. But underneath it is a thief, and what it steals is your power. No one is born afraid. The child who stumbles while learning to walk doesn't fear the fall. She gets up again and again because instinctively she knows falling is not failure, falling is growth. But then we grow older, and somewhere along the way we forget. We are taught to play it safe, to sit down, to blend in. We are conditioned to trade our boldness for comfort, our courage for approval. We become afraid of losing before we've ever dared to win, afraid of standing out before we've ever stood up. And so we shrink. Location is everything. 1/10 of what we once were. We shrink. We dim. We disappear. Not because the world told us to, but because we listened to fear instead of listening to truth. Now let me tell you something real, something raw. The most dangerous lie you will ever believe is that you are powerless. Because once you accept that lie, you stop trying. And once you stop trying, the war is already lost. But what if you remembered? What if you tore off the layers of doubt that life has wrapped around you? What if you woke up to who you really are? Because I'll tell you this, greatness is not a gift. It is a decision. And power is not found in the absence of fear. It is found in your decision to rise despite it. Thomas Edison failed 10,000 times before the world saw light. Henry Ford was told he didn't understand business. Walt Disney was fired for a lack of imagination. What do they all have in common? They were afraid, but they did it anyway. Because fear is not the signal to stop. Fear is the signal that you're on the edge of something meaningful. You want to know how to transcend fear? You face it, you name it, you drag it into the light. Because fear is like mold. It grows in darkness and dies in truth. Understand this, fear thrives when you do nothing. It feeds off indecision. It grows in delay. But the second you act, truly act, it loses its grip. Not because it vanishes, but because you stop giving it power. You don't need to be fearless. You need to be willing to move, willing to try, willing to fail, to stumble, to bleed, willing to become more than who you were yesterday. Because power is not a feeling, it's a choice. And every day you hesitate, you hand it away. But every day you decide, even in the smallest way, you take it back. Clarity is power. When you don't know who you are, fear fills in the blank. But when you do know, when you define your purpose, when you declare your vision with unwavering certainty, fear has nowhere left to live. There's a reason why Napoleon Hill said, "Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Not might achieve, not should achieve. Can, will, because belief is the first weapon against fear. But belief alone is not enough. You must act in alignment with it. That is how you build self-trust. That is how you carve power from the raw stone of resistance. Let me speak directly to your soul now. The future you want will never be built by the current version of you. It will be built by the bold, relentless, focused, upgraded version of you. The one who refuses to let fear sit in the driver's seat. You think you have time, but you don't. Time is the currency of life, and fear is stealing your wealth. While you doubt, someone else is doing. While you pause, someone else is building. While you wait to feel ready, your dream is fading behind the fog of hesitation, and the forces of life will come. The air, the sign. Stop waiting for permission. You were born with it. And stop thinking power is something you earn later. It is something you choose now. Now is the only moment that exists. Right here, right now, you are either stepping into your power or shrinking from it. And what you do in this moment becomes your life. You don't need 100 steps. You don't need to see the whole staircase. You need to move. One step, one action, one bold decision that says, I will not let fear rule me. Because the truth is, fear cannot survive when faced head on. It collapses when you do the very thing it told you not to. Speak when it says be silent. Move when it says wait. Dream louder, act faster, rise higher, because fear told you not to. This is your test. This is your invitation. Not to avoid fear, but to transcend it. To rise above it like a flame through darkness. To unlock a power that was always yours, but hidden beneath doubt. It starts with ownership. Own your thoughts. Own your energy. Own your future. No more excuses. No more someday. You've been given the greatest force in the universe, the power to choose. And now, you must choose. You must choose to see clearly, even when the world around you is fog. Because clarity is not a gift from the sky. It is a decision forged in silence, in solitude, in self-honesty. The most powerful people on earth, the ones who bend reality, who move nations, who build empires from thin air, they do not wait for clarity. They create it. You must learn to sit with yourself long enough to hear your true voice, not the noise of the world, because the world will always tell you what's safe, what's normal, what's expected. But your spirit knows what is possible. And make no mistake, your spirit is not average. You were not born to live by default. You were not born to follow a script written by people who gave up on their dreams. You were born to design, to build, to rise. But you must see it before you live it. Walt Disney walked through empty land and saw castles. Edison stared into darkness and saw light. Nelson Mandela looked through a prison wall and saw freedom. Vision is not what you see with your eyes. It's what you see with your faith. It's the movie playing in your mind when the lights are off. It's the knowing deep in your gut that your future is already real if you dare to walk toward it. But belief must come first. You understand this. Your brain is always eavesdropping on your thoughts. Every time you say, I can't, it listens. Every time you say, I'm not ready, it agrees. Your mind becomes what you feed it. That's why belief is not a luxury, it's a requirement. You must believe in your vision when no one claps. You must believe in your voice when no one listens. You must believe in your dream when fear screams louder than faith. Because that belief is the fuel. And without it, no strategy, no mentor, no system can save you. But with belief, you become dangerous. You become magnetic. You bend reality in your direction because your mind no longer asks if, it decides when. Napoleon Hill called this definiteness of purpose, and it is the root of all achievement. A burning desire backed by faith. A decision that becomes obsession, not in the shallow social media sense of manifestation, but in the raw, all-in, zero plan B kind of obsession that moves mountains. You want to transcend fear? Then lock in. Burn the boats. Cut off retreat. Tell the world who you are, and then go prove it. You don't need anyone to believe in your vision. Not yet. But you need to. Because your belief becomes your energy. Your energy becomes your habits. Your habits become your results. And your results become your reputation with yourself. That's what matters most. Not how the world sees you, but how you see you. Because self-trust is the currency of power. Without it, you'll hesitate at the edge of every opportunity. You'll second-guess your voice. You'll shrink your greatness to fit into rooms that weren't built for you. But when you trust yourself, truly, deeply, you become unshakable. You stop chasing permission. You stop asking for signs. You become the sign. And from that place, vision becomes execution. Because belief without discipline is just daydreaming. But belief with discipline, that's a revolution. You want to change your life? Then control your mornings. Master your rituals. Guard your energy like it's gold, because it is. Your habits are the proof of what you believe. Every time you choose focus over distraction, every time you choose growth over comfort, every time you keep a promise to yourself, you build power. Brick by brick, day by day, until one day fear knocks on the door and you don't even flinch. Not because it's gone, but because you've outgrown it, because you've spent enough time in the dark to know who you are. And now, the world can't shake what it didn't build. You don't rise by luck, you rise by decision, the decision to become so clear in your purpose, so rooted in your identity, so disciplined in your actions that no storm, no doubt, no failure can move you. This is the quiet power of those who succeed. They're not louder, they're not luckier, they're clearer. And clarity cuts through fear like a blade through fog. So stop waiting to feel ready. You won't. The next level of your life demands a bolder version of you. Not a perfect one, a braver one. A version of you that says, I may be scared, I may stumble, but I will not stand still. Because fear only wins when you hesitate. But belief moves. Belief builds. Belief becomes. So today, not tomorrow, not someday, make the decision. You will not be ruled by fear. You will be ruled by vision. Purpose is the anchor in the storm. When everything is uncertain, when life shakes you to your knees, when the plan collapses, it's your purpose that keeps you standing, not your talent, not your resources, not your resume. Purpose. Because purpose is not a job title. It's not a side hustle or a dream scribbled in a notebook. Purpose is who you are when everything else is stripped away. It's the fire that doesn't go out, the whisper that won't be silenced. It's the thing you'd still do if no one ever saw it, liked it, praised it, or paid for it. That's how you know it's real. And once you find that, once you touch that deep, raw, honest purpose, fear loses its leverage because you're no longer playing to avoid failure. You're playing because you must, because your life demands it, because doing anything else would be betrayal. You want to unlock your true power? Then stop chasing motivation and start building discipline. Motivation is a spark. It burns hot and fast, then vanishes. Discipline is the furnace, the thing that burns day after day, no matter how you feel. It doesn't care if it's raining. It doesn't care if you're tired. Discipline shows up. Discipline doesn't wait for ideal conditions. It creates them. And here's the truth most people run from. Discipline is freedom. Discipline gives you choices that laziness steals. Discipline gives you a life on your terms, not the world. You think freedom is sleeping in and taking it easy? No, that's comfort. Freedom is knowing you're becoming the person you were born to be. Freedom is waking up with clarity, showing up with power, and going to bed with pride. And that comes from doing the work, especially when you don't feel like it. Because how you do the small things, the unseen things, becomes how you do everything. That's where character is forged, in the quiet hours, the early mornings, the late nights, when no one is watching and you still give everything. That's how legends are built. Do you think Lincoln only worked when he felt inspired? Do you think Ford only pushed forward when it was easy? Do you think Carnegie built his empire because he wanted to grind every day? They did it because their vision burned hotter than their doubt, because their why was louder than their excuses, because they were willing to sacrifice who they were for who they could become. And that's what separates the few who rise from the many who dream. You can read every book, watch every video, visualize every outcome, but without action, it means nothing. The world doesn't reward potential. It rewards execution. You must move, not just once, but daily. Not just when it's easy, but especially when it's not. There is no shortcut, no cheat code. There is only the path and your willingness to walk it, bleed on it, crawl on it, die on it if you must. But never forget, you chose this because something inside you said, there's more. And that voice, that fire, it's still there. It never left. It's just been buried beneath fear, doubt, and distractions that pretend to be comfort. But they're lies. They are quicksand in disguise. Because comfort will sell you safety and steal your life. That's why you must act. When your alarm rings, get up. When your vision fades, write it down again. When the resistance gets loud, get louder. Take the meeting, make the call, lift the weight, publish the work, speak the truth, even when you feel unprepared, especially when you do. Action breeds confidence. Confidence breeds courage, and courage dismantles fear. You don't need to have all the answers, you just need to move your feet. Because clarity comes through engagement, not theory. You learn by doing, you grow by failing, you rise by refusing to quit. The most dangerous thing you can do is wait. Because every moment you wait, fear tightens its grip. But every moment you act, power returns. Let me say it again so it burns into your bones. You were not born to play it safe. You were born to take territory. So go take it. Build the thing, launch the mission, speak the vision. Fall if you must, just fall forward. And when you fall, don't ask why me, ask what now? Because power is not in the plan. Power is in the response. It's what you do after life punches you in the mouth. That's where the warriors are born. So let the world test you. Let it doubt you. Let it throw everything at you. You were not built to break. You were built to become. And becoming is painful. But regret is worse. Fear will cost you everything if you let it. But action will give you everything you've ever wanted and more. So stop waiting. This is your moment. Not someday, not next year. You know who you are. Now act like it. Life is not testing your dreams, it's testing your commitment to them. Every setback, every rejection, every silent night when nothing moves, that's not fight. That's fight. That fight. That fight. Punishment, that's preparation. Because the people who rise, the ones who truly transcend fear, are not the ones who never fall. They are the ones who fall and refuse to stay down. They are the ones who've been broken, burned, beaten, and still rise. Not because they're superhuman, but because they made a decision to own the pain, to wear the scars as armor, to let every failure sharpen them, not shatter them. You see, resilience isn't just about surviving hardship. It's about responding to it in a way that makes you stronger than before. It's about being the kind of person who, when life knocks you on your knees, uses the ground as a launch pad. You will be tested. You will be stretched. There will be days when nothing works, when no one believes, when even you start to question why you began. Those are the moments that separate the temporary from the timeless, the dabblers from the destined, the curious from the committed. And that's when you must become adaptable, because rigidity breaks, but adaptability bends and comes back stronger. The most dangerous mindset you can have is, this is how it has to be. No, this is how it is today, and if it's not working, you pivot, you learn. You stop expecting the path to stay straight, and you build the grit to walk it anyway. Remember this, Darwin didn't say the strongest survive. He said the most adaptable survive, because fear thrives when you try to control everything. But power lives in flexibility, in knowing that no matter what changes, you won't quit. You'll shift, you'll stretch, you'll find a new way, because there is always a way for the committed. When Edison was told his light bulb couldn't be made, he didn't argue. He tested 10,000 times. He didn't change the goal, he changed the approach. And in doing so, he changed the world. That's what you're here to do. You're not here to survive fear. You're here to transcend it by outworking it, outlasting it, and outgrowing it. But to do that, you must master the one battlefield no one else sees: your emotions. Because emotions will lie to you. They'll tell you you're tired when you're only uninspired. They'll whisper that you're done when you've only scratched the surface. They'll try to convince you to stop, not because you can't win, but because winning takes worth. You must become the kind of person who acts regardless of mood, who doesn't need to feel like doing it to do it anyway. That's emotional mastery. That's what gives birth to greatness. As discipline is nothing if it isn't backed by emotional control. Anyone can start something when it's exciting, but the winners, they finish it when it's boring, when it's hard, when it's ugly, when it hurts. And that is the soul of grit. Grit is what you do when the novelty wears off. Grit is showing up on day 1,000 with the same fire you had on day 1. Not because it's easy, not because it's fun, but because you said you would. And your word means everything. Because that's who you are now. Not someone who dabbles, not someone who waits, not someone who wishes. You are someone who decides, someone who moves, someone who rises. Fear cannot live in a mind that is anchored in purpose, powered by discipline, guided by clarity, and ruled by action. So when life pushes you, don't ask, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this building in me? Because adversity is not your enemy. It is your refining fire. The storm is not here to drown you. It's here to reveal you. And if you stay in the fire long enough, if you don't run, don't hide, don't numb, you emerge forged, unbreakable, clear, focused, not in spite of the fire, because of it. That is how you transcend fear. You don't fight it with fists, you outlast it with faith. You outgrow it with vision. You overwhelm it with consistent, disciplined, defiant action, because fear will never leave you. But it can no longer lead you. Not when you've taken the wheel. Not when you've remembered who you are. This is the moment where the old you dies. Not with noise, not with drama, but with finality. Try it. Sacred funeral for every excuse, every fear, every lie you once told yourself about what you couldn't be. Because that version of you, the one who hesitated, who waited, who let fear write the script, that version is gone. You've stood in the fire. You've stared down doubt. You've walked through storms and buried your limits in the ground behind you. And now you see the truth. There was never anything to fear. The fear wasn't real. It was a shadow, a fog that disappeared the moment you moved through it. Because power doesn't come before you act. It comes as you act. Confidence isn't something you wait for. It's something you build, rep by rep, day by day, breath by... That's what they never told you. That strength isn't found, it's forged. That belief isn't inherited, it's chosen. That your life will only ever rise to meet the standard you set and enforce. You don't become powerful by wishing. You become powerful by deciding. So decide now that you will no longer shrink yourself to fit into fear's box. That you will no longer seek validation from people who have no idea where you're going. That you will no longer negotiate with your dream. From this day forward, your standard is greatness. Your mission is growth. Your oxygen is purpose. Your story is still being written. Let the world sleep. Let the doubters doubt. Let the small minds play it safe. But not you. You are done living on your knees. You've learned that the real prison is not your past. It's the beliefs you kept repeating. And the key? The key was always in your pocket. You held the power all alone. You just needed to remember. So now you rise, not as someone who hopes to succeed, but as someone who expects to win, not from ego, but from earned confidence. You've done the work. You've stared into the dark and didn't run. You've been cracked open, and instead of collapsing, you became. That's what this is about. Not perfection, becoming every day, every step, every scar. You're not here to arrive. You're here to evolve. So stop asking, how long will it take? Start asking, how far can I go? Because there is no finish line. There's only the next level, and the next, and the next. You weren't made for mediocrity. You weren't made for comfort. You were made to build, to stretch, to serve, to impact, to lead, to create. You were made to rise and rise again, because you are the storm. You are the fire. You are the voice that fear can't silence. This is the new you. Free in your vision, unbreakable in your purpose, grounded in gratitude, alive with discipline, burning with faith. No more waiting, no more playing small, no more wondering if you're ready. You're ready. This is the day you transcend fear. This is the day you unlock your true power. This is the day you become unstoppable. And from this moment forward, there is no going back. Before anything becomes real, it must first become clear. Clarity is the seed from which all power grows. Without it, your energy is scattered. Your days are noise. Your thoughts are fog. You work, but you don't move. You act, but you don't build. You exist, but you don't live. The truth, most people aren't lost. They're just unclear. They wake up reacting instead of directing. They chase distractions dressed as opportunities. They confuse movement for progress and comfort for peace. But there is no peace without purpose, and there is no purpose without vision. Vision is not a wish. It's not a vague hope for a better future. It is a vivid, emotional blueprint of who you are becoming. It is seeing in the mind what does not yet exist in the world, and walking toward it like it already belongs to you. Because it does. Vision is what separates those who drift from those who dominate. When Walt Disney saw a swamp in Florida, he didn't see a swamp. He saw a kingdom. When Elon Musk looked at the stars, he didn't see distance. He saw destiny. When you look at your life, What do you see? Do you see problems, or do you see possibility? Because the greatest prison is not bars, it's blindness. You can't build what you cannot see, and you won't chase what you don't believe you deserve. That's why clarity must be relentlessly pursued. Not just once, not just when life is quiet, but daily, before the world shouts its agenda. You must speak your vision. Write it, say it, see it, describe it so clearly it burns into your soul, so detailed that your brain doesn't question it, it just moves toward it, because your mind is always building. The only question is, what image is it building around? So guard your vision. Like a warrior, protect sacred ground. Don't let opinions blur. Don't let failure stain it. Don't let time dilute it. The world will try to tell you to be realistic, but realistic is just code for don't try too hard. And if you want to live a powerful life, realistic must become your enemy, because every great achievement was once unrealistic. Flight, electricity, the internet, space travel, it all sounded crazy until it didn't. Clarity is the most potent weapon against fear, because when your vision is clear, your courage becomes automatic. To stop asking, what if I fail? Then you start asking, what if I don't? What if I waste this gift? That's the question that should keep you up at night. Of the fear of rejection, not the fear of being misunderstood, but the fear of dying full of potential you never used. Let that haunt you. Let it drive you. Because the clearer your vision becomes, the more ruthless your focus must be. Not everything deserves your energy. Not every invitation is meant for you. Not every voice deserves space in your mind. Discipline isn't just doing what's hard. It's saying no to what's easy. You can't master your life while chasing every trend. You can't build something eternal while being consumed by the temporary. Your vision demands sacrifice, of distraction, of mediocrity, of comfort disguised as stability. But what you get in return is clarity that cuts through chaos like a blade, focus that can't be broken, momentum that can't be stopped. You want to transcend fear? Get clear on where you're going, and then build your entire life around that direction. Wake up like it's already yours. Speak like the person who already lives there. Move like someone's not hoping for it, but claiming it. Because when your vision is clear, you don't chase opportunity. You attract them. You don't follow energy. You command it. You don't fear the future. You create it. This is what makes you dangerous. Not just ambition, but precision, a clear mind, a steady heart, and a soul so dialed in on its vision, fear has no room to breathe. So sharpen it, live it, own it, because your future isn't waiting to be found. It's waiting to be built. And now you have the blueprint. You will never rise higher than the environment you tolerate. You can have the vision, you can have the drive, but if you're surrounded by small minds, low energy, and toxic patterns, they will bleed into your system like poison. Success is not just about what you do. It's about what you allow, who you let speak into your life, what energy you permit in your space, what thoughts you nurture when no one is watching. If you walk through smoke long enough, you will smell like it, even if you never lit the fire. So what are you inhaling every day? Look around. Your habits, your conversations, the media you consume, the people you call friends. Are they reinforcing your power or subtly draining it? Napoleon Hill said it clearly. Every brain is both a broadcasting and a receiving station, meaning you are constantly emitting signals and absorbing them. So if you're tuned into mediocrity, guess what you attract? More of it. Your environment must match your vision, or your vision will shrink to match yours. Environment, that's not philosophy. That's physics. You want to think like a millionaire? Stop spending your time with people who glorify being broke. In mindset, in values, in spirit. You want to build something timeless? Start protecting your time like your legacy depends on it. Because it does. You think Carnegie, Rockefeller, Ford, you think they wasted their mornings scrolling through someone else's life? No, they architected their days. They surrounded themselves with minds that stretched them, not ones that sedated them. You need people in your corner who challenge your laziness, who refuse to let you settle, who don't just celebrate your wins, but confront your blind spots. Your circle should feel like strategy, not nostalgia. Because too many people stay stuck in the past, loyal to friendships that have expired. You can love people, but not let them lead you. You can honor your past, but not make it your prison. If they drain you, limit access. If they doubt you, limit influence. If they fear growth, they fear your becoming. And you were not born to dim your light so others feel safe in the dark. So change the room, change the rhythm, change the rules of your life. Build an environment that fuels your obsession, where excellence is the minimum and accountability is the standard. A place where the books on your shelf speak power into your mornings, where your phone is a tool, not a leash, where your calendar reflects your dreams, not your distraction. Your space must be sacred, not perfect, but intentional. Let your room reflect your mission. Let your playlist move your spirit. Let your walls echo your vision. Let your mentors live on your podcasts, your audiobooks, your screen. If they don't exist in your real life yet, build a virtual boardroom. But make sure your brain is sitting at a table with giants, because proximity matters. You become what you see. You become what you hear. You become what you normalize. And when you normalize greatness, fear begins to shrink. You stop asking, can I do this, and start asking, how fast can I scale this? You stop hesitating and start executing. You stop just being motivated and start being moved. And that's what your environment is supposed to do. Not just support you, but elevate you. Not just comfort you, but grow you. Because your environment is not just a backdrop, it is a mirror. It reflects what you believe you deserve. So raise the standard. Clear the noise. Clean the room. Curate your input. Upgrade your circle. And most importantly, become someone worthy of that new frequency. Because when your environment aligns with your vision, everything accelerates. You wake up faster. You move with clarity, and the world responds differently, because this is how power multiplies. Not through force, but through alignment. So stop trying to force greatness in an environment built for survival. You're not here to survive. You're here to transcend. And now your space must rise to meet your potential. Wealth is not a number, it's a mindset. And until you shift your relationship with money, success will always feel like a fight instead of a flow. You've been taught to chase it, to hustle endlessly, burn out, grind harder, prove yourself to people who aren't even paying attention. But here's the truth no one taught you. Wealth doesn't come to the desperate. It comes to the certain. Because money is not a reward for effort. It's a byproduct of value and belief. So if deep down you don't believe you're worthy of success, you'll sabotage it every time. That's why mindset comes before the money. That's why the rich don't just think differently. They expect differently. They don't ask, can I afford this? They ask, how do I create this? They don't say, I wish I had more. They say, I am the source, because they understand that money isn't the goal, it's the amplifier. It reveals who you already are. So if you're generous, resourceful, bold, hungry, money multiplies that. If you're scared, scarce, undisciplined, money magnifies that too. Which is why most people who win the lottery, they lose it, because they skipped the internal transformation. They got the money, but never became the person who could hold it. You want to be wealthy? Don't just change your income. Change your identity. Start seeing yourself as a creator of value, someone who solves problems, someone who moves with purpose and gets compensated accordingly. Because value creates income, and impact creates legacy. This is the modern interpretation of Napoleon Hill's truth. Success comes to those who become success conscious. In other words, you don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. So stop begging for the check. Become the person who writes them. Stop playing defense with your bills. Start building systems that print opportunities. The wealthy don't worship money. They respect it. They learn the laws. They study cash flow like athletes study film. They understand leverage. They use time, people, and tools to multiply their reach, not just increase their hours. And most importantly, they stay rooted in service, because the secret to abundance isn't taking, it's giving. More than anyone else is willing to give more value, more depth, more energy, more consistency, more you. That's the irony. Money flows toward those who stop chasing it and start chasing purpose. When you wake up every day asking, how can I serve at the highest level? Health. How can I solve real problems? How can I deliver something unforgettable? Money can't help but come to you, because now you're magnetic. You're alive. You're locked in on value, not vanity. So let's make this clear. Wealth is not greed. It's not ego. It's freedom. It's the power to buy back your time, to reinvest in your vision, to say no to things that don't serve your future, to provide for those you love without blinking, to build something that lasts long after you're gone. But here's the part they never say out loud. Wealth also makes you visible. It exposes you. And if you're not grounded, if you haven't done the internal work, it will destroy you. So the first, because money doesn't fix your character. It amplifies it. So if you want to be rich, rich in impact, rich in purpose, rich in finances, you need foundation. You need integrity that doesn't shake when zeros increase. You need humility that keeps you hungry even after you've made it. And you need vision that stretches beyond cars and clothes into contribution. You want to be wealthy? Then stop focusing on what you can get and start obsessing over what you can give. Give the world your genius. Give the world your resilience. Give the world something it can't ignore. Because that's the difference between those who make a living and those who make a... The rich don't just collect. They create. So decide now. Will you play small and safe, buried in scarcity and fear? Or will you rise, recalibrate, and claim the abundance that's been waiting for you to step into? You weren't born to chase dollars. You were born to command value. You weren't made to survive in lack. You were made to expand in abundance. And the world, it pays exactly what you believe you're worth. So raise your worth, raise your standard, and become the source of wealth, not the seeker. And now you stand here, not at the end, but at the edge of a choice. The world won't give you your power. It never has. It never will, because true power is never granted. It's claimed, not with noise, not with bravado, but with conviction. You claim it in the silence, when no one is clapping, when you're staring down your doubts, when you decide, I will not go back, I will not play small, I will not die with this fire still inside. This is the moment you choose to live wide awake, to stop asking for permission, to stop explaining yourself, to stop hiding the parts of you that were built for greatness. You weren't made to fit in. You were made to build what didn't exist before you arrived. And yes, it will be hard. And yes, you will lose people. And yes, you will fail, fall, bleed, and rise. But the purpose inside you is stronger than the pain around you, because you've seen it now. You've tasted what happens when you turn fear into fuel, when you stop running from the fire and walk through it with your head high and your soul louder than your doubt. This is the resurrection of your belief that you were never broken. You were becoming, that you were never too late. You were just preparing, that your pain wasn't punishment. It was preparation for something greater, something that still calls your name in the quiet. So now rise. Rise with purpose. Rise with patience. Rise with power that doesn't shake when life does. Build the life, lead the mission. Live the example. And when they ask you how you did it, how you went from fear to freedom, from confusion to clarity, from survival to significance, you'll look them in the eyes and say, I decided to stop running. I decided to stop waiting. I decided to become who I was always meant to be. Not one day, today, because you don't need more time. You need more truth. And the truth is this: you are ready, you are called, you are capable, and your time is now.